How's it going? Today is 11th of December, Wednesday, and we're going to be taking a look at market, what kind of opportunities we can find. We're going to be taking a look at government press releases. There might be some opportunities in today's releases when it comes to recruitment. We can briefly touch on perhaps or share some of these opportunities, but perhaps and the point of this channel, perhaps maybe people might considering starting their own businesses, right? But those opportunities might be up there. First press release that with the British Army successfully test new drone destroying laser. First ever UK high energy laser weapon system mounted on armored vehicle at UK trial range. That's great. It's something that will be published today. I was taking a look at other governments. They have designed a lot of technology when it comes to drones. I was taking a look, it's not necessarily competition. What I'm saying is, perhaps there's a lot of alternatives in the market. It's good that the British Army is doing it, right? High energy laser weapon has been fired by the British Army from armored vehicle for the first time and successfully destroyed flying drones. It works by directly an intense beam of infrared light in the form of energy towards its target using advanced sensors and all tracking systems, which maintains lock-on and accuracy in real time. Unlike conventional munitions, laser weapons are virtually limitless in terms of ammunition supply, which means they could represent a cost-effective alternative to some current in-service weapons. Right? Again, sometimes they would fire close to £1 million pounds worth rockets or dollars, right? At those drones. So those were similar alternatives to save some of the tax money. That's always great. The laser was integrated onto. I don't know if that's important. There might be. Let's skip without the names. Protected troop carrying vehicle where soldiers from. Again, I don't know if we can disclose this information. Were able to track and note down hovering target. I know. Again, there's so many names. So let's keep all those names in mid Wales, right? Great. So there's a lot of training going on, as well as there might be some progress when it comes to some of those platforms and or attachments onto those platforms and entire systems and how those systems would function, and perhaps an entire system. I have four moving pieces, right? That would be platform, targeting system, real-time data, perhaps some of the software solutions, right? As well as it might be able uh, fire while driving, even better, right? So perhaps entire system might have four pieces. Let's progress. Let's take a look at the next article, right? Let's take a look at the next article. That would be changes to maritime law reflect on ever-evolving need of the seafarers. Internet access to seafarers while at sea, straightening recruitment for a balance, nutrition, and varied diet could become more important. It's all these points are very important, as well as cycles. So that would be if they would be on board, if they would have enough time for physical activity, not necessarily just for working hours. As well as they might have leave their home for sometimes it could be more than 4 weeks. Just look after these people, as well as autonomous systems, perhaps if they actually need it on board. And how many people will be needed on board? If it's 10, can that number be reduced to perhaps just 3 or 4 people, right? What's the minimum requirements, right? But anyway, there are two of the latest amendments proposed under Maritime Labour Convention 2006, upon which consultations has now been launched, enabling you to find out more information about and share your views, right? The MLC sets a minimum information standard for living and all working conditions for seafarers in relied upon the consultation on with regulator and all gathering feedback. The latest change proposed by Maritime and Coast Guard reflects lessons learned during. Oh, okay, we can say that, including near to the seafarers to remain in touch with friends, family, throughout social media and all messaging apps while at sea. Perhaps if there is a process to engage with the team, perhaps physical activity would be important for mental well-being as well. In particular when it comes to longer journeys, right? Perhaps you can touch on that. Other than that, social media, I don't know about that. Might burn a lot of brains there. Reading more books perhaps would be more important and productive. But other than that, let's close this press release and progress into the next one. Briefly, right, as I mentioned previously, there are key opportunities for people to engage and or find a job, but perhaps we can take a look at how to build a business, right? Anyway, the first position that will be recruiting for synergy delivery and or business change lead, and salary begins at 44,500, as well as next opportunity that will be recruiting for senior external communications manager, as well as that would be very similar salary, if not the same. Starting at 44,500, right? Let's take a look at next press release. That would mean improvements in our services for transport managers. The Office of Traffic Commissioner is seeking to modernize by implementing digital by default process for most of our services. In September, we are moving towards this approach by making the continuous process digital. We are now modernizing that all alterations to transport managers on the operations license used by digital process already available within vehicle operation license. Okay, okay. Perhaps that would be important, and that would be traffic commissioning for Great Britain. Perhaps it's something that had to be done some time ago, but it's just robust technology, right? And enough testing perhaps had to be done before it could move to fully digital platform. Let's take a look at next article. Let's take a look at next article. That would be Lord. Okay, let's keep name visits South America to straighten defense ties. Defense Minister, let's progress without names, visits Chile and Brazil for talks with counterparts and all industry SDK straight installations with partners around the world. I don't know, since there's a lot of conflicting information. When it comes to this press release, what the government is looking to do is great, but there is a lot of conflicting information. Since we're touching on Brazil, and there was some actions that was taken by the government, which perhaps contradicts that. But anyway, let's take a look at what Europe doing instead. Perhaps UK might consider taking a look at when it comes to trade and consider some of those relationships. I do understand that there's within this article we're taking a look at defense industry strategy. So that would be defense industry, as well as Brazil would have very strong aviation industry and all progress towards very strong aviation industry. Perhaps there might be some partnerships there, but I don't know. I don't know. We can perhaps take a look at defense industrial strategy. Perhaps would be important, but this video might be too long, right? Perhaps we can leave this for tomorrow. Instead, we can take a look at what Europe is doing when it comes to trade agreements, right? Let's take a look at potentially trade agreement and perhaps some of the actions that Europe is taking, right? That would be I'll be taking a look at the European Commission, that would be policy papers from European Union. So all information should be accurate and not biased, I guess. Well, overall, that would be country of region, Mercosur, trade topics, negotiations and agreement, European Union or Mercosur countries, that would be Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay, reach policy agreements on 6th of December 2024 for groundbreaking partnership agreement. We not necessarily have enough time to cover everything in necessary detail, so we're gonna be just touching on important points. So to be EU-Mercosur number one trade and investment partner. You export to Mercosur were 56 billion in goods in 2023 and 28 billion in services in 2022. Massive amounts, billions. We're taking a look at billions, right? And this is how much trade is happening, and perhaps what UK is doing. So, coming from UK standpoint of view, perhaps there might be more that UK could do. These sums is massive sums, right? When it comes to trade, the EU is the biggest foreign investor in Mercosur, which stock of 340 billion in 2021. While the relationship is very substantial, both exports and all potential investors face barriers in the Mercosur market. The goal of the new EU-Mercosur trade deal is to increase bilateral trade and investment and lower tariff and non-tariff trade barriers, notably for small and medium-sized enterprises, create more stable and more predictable rules for trade or investment throughout the barrier and more stronger rules, i.e. in areas intellectual property rights, including geographical indicators, food safety standards, competition and all good regulatory practices. And the last point that we promote joint values such as sustainable development by strengthening worker rights, fight climate change, increase environmental protection, and encourage companies to act responsibly by upholding high food standards, safety standards. The agreement represents win-win for both EU and Mercosur, creating opportunities for growth, jobs, and sustainable development for both sides. Great. Sounds like I do understand some pushback, but we won't gonna have enough time to touch on the pushback. But overall, great that there is more trade and more opportunities being developed, right? Let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.